Okay, so today is August 6th, 2020. Okay, we can see what's going on. All right, they did an update. Okay, you can see this. Update on healthcare services in Surrey. That's where I live. Okay, so let's just go to the first one here. All right, this was streamed live 2 hours ago. All right, okay. You can see, right? And then you can see I just brought up a bunch of different pages. But if you can see here, after the live was over, it was actually done 1 day ago. All right. All right. And then, of course, they refresh their page because, you know, they're hiding what they're doing. So this live, this little update that they did was done a day ago. You can see that right there. And then they proceeded to take it down and repost it. But they're getting fast at it. Okay. Now if I refresh this page, okay, it's going to come in with something different. Watch. See? 1 hour ago. When in fact, people, it was done 1 day ago. Okay? Now, the thing about this, I don't want to drag this out, honest to God. Okay, I'm just going to refresh this page. Because it's just been sitting there. Okay? So here it says it was live 2 hours ago. And then when we get into the beginning of it, so these guys are starting to really promote their masks now, right? Because this is a takeover of humanity. This is what this is. By an occult that practices Satanism to some degree and have had their DNA altered in some way or manner in terms of they're not of the flesh. Okay? In a 100% human aspect. Okay? So, anyway, you can see, right? He gets up here and he's going on about how it's raining today. Because it rained a little bit today. But you see, the thing is, this live stream, at least, I don't know about with him, but, well, no, can't be. It can't be, people, because it was done a day ago, okay? Now, I don't recall it raining yesterday, because I was outside getting apples, all right? Unless, of course, they're watching the forecast, and they just took a chance to say it was going to rain today, because this live stream that they restreamed 2 hours ago was done yesterday, or at least a day ago. Okay. Now, this one here, I've got on, this one is a lie. They lied on this one too, people. Okay. This wasn't done a day ago. Honest to God, this stuff stresses me out so much, I can't remember when it was done, but I know it was done not a day ago. It was not done yesterday, people, any more than this one was done today. Okay? Now, okay, see, this one here says 1 hour because I refreshed it, right? See? But you go to the one next over to it, as soon as the live kicked out, it tells you the true day right, in terms of 1 day ago, 1 week ago, 3 days ago, right, when the live stream was actually uploaded onto the server. They just didn't make it public until today. So they're lying, people. They're lying. Okay, so now it's August 6, 2020. Just moving along. I show you this, people, to inspire you. For the ones that are hanging on a thread. Right? Okay, so anyway, did that last night. I didn't get to bed till like 4:30, 5 o'clock this morning. Now it's like 2, right? And I'm starting to move around more now. Okay, which means I'll probably go late into the hours of the evening. You can see here, right, the 6 jars. I've already washed them. I just have to label them and take them down of the blackberries, right? I think that video will be going up, or it's already up. Anyway, this is the batch of blackberries that Andre and I picked yesterday. And this is what I'm going to try and make grape jelly with, okay? So I'm going to do one more batch of blackberries to get the juice. I'm not going to squeeze this pulp out too much more because I'm going to try and do fruit leather for Andre, right? With the apples that I'm doing right now. Okay, not the ones with the peels. I'm not using normal peels. I did that one batch. And then last night, you know, the video, I'm going to be converting it. It's going to go up, and then this one will be after that one. So you won't see this one until the other one's up first, right? So anyway, besides that point, you just take your juice after you've basically juiced it, and then restrain it in a strainer to catch any miscellaneous seeds. Right? This pulp, I'm going to mix it in. I'm going to try and de-seed it a bit. And then I'm going to mix it in with the apple pulp from the apples that I'm doing. And I'm going to try and do fruit leather for Andre. That's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to mix the two together with some sugar and whatever, and just try and make a fruit roll. And now what I'm getting onto is the apples. There was something I wanted to say. What was it? I'm having panic attacks, people. You know, I'm into that double shift mode right now. You know, long hours, right? Right? And I'm juggling, you know. These apples, I mean, anyone with any common sense would pretty much guesstimate that our governments, they're not governments anymore, people. This is a dictatorship. This is tyranny, okay, among an elite group who have overextended on their authority. The majority of the population, whether they agree or don't agree, I think they understand that it's just a matter of time before a so-called lockdown is going to happen again. More reason to get out and up, like to get up and get out there and do stuff like this for your family if you have a family. Obviously, if you're a single person by yourself and you can maintain on your own little suite, yeah, of course you'd want a little bit of food security. So you adjust it to the size of your family, whether you're a single person or whether you're a family, and there is no fixed number or structure to that family in terms of there's got to be a dad and there's got to be a mom and there's got to be 2.2 kids with the poodle on the side and the white fence keeping up with the Joneses, right? That's not necessarily a family. A family could mean anything when it's a household full of people. Okay? So this is why you want to just find those little gifts from heaven. Okay, I'm not preaching religion, right? I'm not, people. But sometimes, you know, that's how it comes, right? But you have to work for it, right? If you don't work for a result, you don't get the result. So that's why I do these videos. I don't do these videos to brag that, one, I've got extra food in the house, right? I don't do these videos to brag that I know how to process this food, right? As if I'm some kind of guru, which I'm not, right? It's just, you know, I have farm genes, and, you know, I've always been around food, and a lot of it's common sense, and, you know, some of it you read up on, and blah, 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 and then you just go through the exercise, right? I just happen to do YouTube videos, and this is just part of the narrative. Okay, so it's not because I'm trying to brag that I can do this. Ha ha, I have it, you don't. No, it's this is how you do it. Now go do it for yourself, especially if you have a family and you're on a minimal income and you know that you're, I don't want to call it a government, people, but you know that the people that are dictating the planet at this point in terms of where you go, how you get there, what you need to do, and how what you're only allowed to do, what's going to happen to you and your kids if this happens, and so on and so on. And so, like, your whole life is being planned out by individuals that can't even manage their own lives, because some of these individuals might not even be physically correct. Okay? So that's why I do these videos, right? Is to inspire you and to look for those little apple trees maybe that nobody wants in your neighborhood. And don't be afraid to ask if you can have those apples, because you just might get the whole tree. And that tree will feed your family for a year in terms of fruit roll-up, applesauce, apple butter, apple juice, at the cost of hundreds and hundreds of dollars that you saved, right? Because you didn't have to go to the grocery store and buy those quote-unquote organic apples, right? But you have to work for it. You can't stub your nose up at somebody else working for it and then sit back and complain that life is hard and you have nothing, very little, or whatever, and woe is me, when you had the same opportunity in the event of you found an apple tree that nobody wanted those apples, but you decided that you were too good to get dirty and do something about them. Because you get dirty, right? You're digging around in blackberry bushes and ditches and grass, and you know, and you have to carry it home, and like, I don't got a car, people, I haul this shit home. Right? And then you have to sort it out, and you have to process it, and you got to peel it, and you know, and the pots start piling up, and then people are bitching on you, and nobody appreciates what you're doing, and but in the back of your mind, you know that you're good to go if things get real rough. Okay, I'm not gonna go on with it. Okay, that's the point of these videos. Like, just like with these apples. Now, I did these apples in 2014. I specifically showed you how they came about with these apples. Okay? In 2014, that apple tree was dropping the same kind of apples. Do you see that apple? That's what's inside that jar. Okay? And because Uncle John was around, right, he likes stuff like this. So that's why I made such a big jar. Okay? So that's what's inside of this jar from 2014. It came off, okay? But, and after I'm a little caught up, I already said I'm going to open up this jar and taste it and whatnot. And if I like it, then I'm going to use that mush for apple bread, just like I did with the banana bread. That jar is from 2014, people. We're in 2020. That's 6 years old. Okay? That tree is still dropping the same apples that nobody's wanted for 6 years. But I've got apple food products, butter, applesauce, apple juice, those, right, in my house, even without that apple tree dropping apples today. Right? I'm just adding a little extra to the pile so that the shit really fucking hits the fan. And, you know, somebody's hungry and they say, oh, gee, Mama Lynn, you know, it's gotten real bad around here. Is there anything you can give me? I'll be like, hold on. Sure, you can have this jar of applesauce. And this one was done in 2016, people. Do you see? That's why I'm doing fruit roll-up. Because I already have this. Right? Okay? So that's the whole point of the exercise, is to inspire you not to give up, okay? And to find the little blessings in life that you might be walking on by and not realizing that it's an actual blessing. And don't be afraid to put yourself out there digging around in a ditch, grabbing $600 worth of organic apples that nobody wants because they're dropping from the tree, right? And people are walking by, stubbing their noses at you because you're an apple picker. Okay, so moving down the assembly line, I'm getting ready for, I don't know, batch what? 3? With the apples. Okay, so you see what's happening here, right? It's still dripping, so that's fine. Right? I'm going to take that to that little thing that I have and try and take out the pulp. I'm going to try and de-seed that, and then I'm going to mix it with this stuff, which is the apple from last night when I was up at 4 o'clock this morning, right? It has no peel in it. So I am going to take it out of its cheesecloth, because I need the cheesecloth for the next batch. And I'm going to put it in a bowl, and I'm just going to put it in the fridge right along with that until I'm ready with this. Then I'll mix the two, spice it up, do whatever, and then I'm going to dehydrate it. Here's some juice. I don't know if that was last night or yesterday. Okay, that's apple juice. As you can see, people, the apples are getting bigger. Those ones are the little small ones, and now they're getting bigger. And over the next week or two, they're going to keep getting bigger. That's the thing. Right? And then as they get bigger, this changes in taste. Right? One was apple peel, one was without. If you look, you can kind of see this is rich. This is probably from last night without the apple peel. Right? I'm going to taste it right now. It's mild. You can taste the apple in it, but it's not sweet because I was using those apples. Let me taste this one. Same thing. You can see the petition in it. You can see it because it's looking kind of syrupy. Right? Now this one is stronger and sweeter, which means I did this one at 4:30 this morning. So now what I'm going to do, right, and I did a little more here, and this is from this one. So now you pour, and now I'm going to take this, I'm going to pour it in there, I'm going to take this, I'm going to pour it in there, and then I'm going to take this big pot, put it in my fridge so it stays cold, and I'm going to do another batch with bigger apples that are going to have more taste, right, in terms of like an apple versus like a crab apple, right? And then after this pot's full, right, when you're getting up to here, that's when you put sugar or whatever you want for flavoring, assuming that you even need it, right? It depends. Like in another week from now, as the apples get bigger, I won't even need sugar. But at this point, because they're tart, and you can, I did one with the apple peel, you were going to need the sugar. So this is how you do it, right? And then when this pot's full, then you get into your jars, and you can your jars at 190. I'm going to do one more, at least one more, maybe two, only because it's nothing to pick blackberries and do this. You can see how much I got from the one batch from yesterday. So I want at least 2 before I attempt to make jelly. And this will be combined with this after that's de-seeded. So now, let me organize this. Okay, so this is the one with the apple peel. Okay? There's no reason for it to go to waste. So this is how I'm going to try it. I don't need no apple butter, none of that crap right now. I want to try it this way. There's those blackberries, right, that were hanging. So there's still a fair amount of juice in there, okay? Still. And then this one here is from yesterday, because I did it twice. Not as much juice because I pressed it out. This is packed full of seeds. I don't necessarily like dehydrated blackberry when it's in that state. I mean, I've done it, but nobody really eats it because it's very crunchy with the seeds. So that's why I'm trying to de-seed it a little bit anyway. Right? So before I add this into this thing here, I don't know what it's called. Right? You can see. Just sits there and it goes round and round and round. Okay, so I did a little bit. You can see what happens, right? Now there's still seeds in there, but not as much, right? Because, you know, this helps to take out the pulp and leave the seeds behind. Although the seeds are so small, it does get through. But now that I'm at this stage and I've started and I've got this much, I'm going to take that one with the apple peel there and I'm going to start mixing it in to give you that extra pulp to push the blackberry pulp through. And, you know, I may have to do it twice to cut back on the seeds, but we'll see. Hold on. I just want you to watch this. This is like being in a gym. You know, I'm having to be like this, right? And I do it like all day long, right? Right, stretching, banging, do whatever it is I'm doing, people. That's why I got my head, eh? The pressure, you know, I can feel it. As I'm going like this, I'm like, oh, please, I don't want another headache. Right? My head hasn't, I have to brace this, right? And then I gotta go around and around and around like this. Okay? That's why I turn on the camera so you can see. Right? This is where you just have to be patient. Right? It's one of those things, if you don't do it, one, you don't know, and two, you don't get the results in terms of the food, right? You know, I don't even know if this is going to work. I might be wasting my time. Right? It's taking a long time. What I'm doing is I'm going around and around and around, and as I'm going around and around and around, I'm now adding in those ones with apple peels in this, right? But like I said, it's like I can feel my muscles. Right? Right? Yeah. I really wanted to go outside and cut wood today with the skill saw. That's what I wanted to do. I wasn't going to bang anything. I was just going to go around and cut the beams and cut whatever I needed to cut. I need beams. You know, I need board to go along that one garden bed. I need board to go around Mr. Lace's cat house, aka the mini little greenhouse now. Because that's what basically that's going to end up being. Some kind of little mini greenhouse, my lettuce room. I might call that one my lettuce room. If I, you know, well, it's not if, it's when I get it done. I'm going to see if, instead of using a cold frame to grow lettuce in the wintertime, I might use that instead. And just run a heater in there, right? It's still going to get light. It will still grow. You just need it a little warmer. So I don't think I need grow lights, but a heater would probably work. And then I get these blackberry histamines. Tisha came in yesterday and said, Mom, you got scratches all over you. Because I was I go right into the blackberry bush. They prick onto me, and I'm like, okay, you know, just you have to kind of like work your way out, right? You don't fight against the blackberry bush. You kind of just work with it, and it doesn't injure you too bad in terms of scratching you up. But yeah, I already got little scratches. Apparently, I got them on my back. But anyway, if you want blackberries, that's what you have to do. Okay, so you can see I've done half of that already, right? And then it's going down. The pot is filling up, okay? You know what's in there. Now let's go like this. Where is it? I know there's going to be seeds in there, but not nearly as much. That's actually quite good. Once I put some sugar in this, people, if it dehydrates good, oh, it's going to be so good. And being that these apple peels are being mixed right into this product, I might just do, because when the apples come, right, and they get a little bigger, right, because they get bigger, right, those apple peels, as I'm peeling, I like to cook those ones separate and then make the apple peel syrup for just pancakes or whatever, right? So it's not like I don't use the apple peel. I do. But I think in light of what I'm doing here, right, I think I should do another batch of cooked apples with their peels on and then blend them in to what I'm blending in right now, because one, that's a little extra food. You know, why waste a good apple peel if you don't have to? Remember, there's no preservatives on them, no waxes, nothing. So, and they always say the most nutrients are in with the apple, right? So, you see, this is what I go through every day, something like this. Right? But if this works, well, that's going to be the new gig. And I won't have to make apple butter this year because I don't need apple butter and I really don't need applesauce, right? Some of these apples, when they come in bigger, I'm going to freeze them, you know, cut up, whatever, and then I'm going to vacuum seal those bags, right? But I'm mainly doing this for the juice, mainly, right? Because there's nothing like homemade organic apple juice, right? So obviously it takes a little time, right? And you know, it can get uncomfortable and you're using muscles that you maybe don't want to use, right? But if you do stuff like this on a regular basis, like that's one thing I don't get when I get body pains, my body pains are not like from something, like I don't, like tomorrow morning, for example, okay, I can feel my muscles being worked, right? Okay, that's nothing new, right? It doesn't matter what part of my body I'm exercising. If I'm exercising muscles, you know, I can feel them straining this and that, and I'm like, right? Especially if I sit all winter and then go out and start working, then yeah, maybe I need a couple days of recuperation, you know, in terms of aches and pains when it comes to actual muscles. But in this situation, I could probably do this all day, right? Bitch and complain that, you know, my arms are getting a little stiff. But tomorrow morning when I wake up, I won't feel like I was in a gym exercising with, you know, a bunch of weights. And you know that feeling you get with that? Well, that's the same kind of feeling that I'm getting right now. Right? That's not the kind of body aches that I get. I don't get those kind of body aches. And if I do, I only get it for a day. So I'm, because I'm, you know, I'm pretty fit for my age, really. Okay? And then, but I get a different kind of body ache. I don't know how to explain it. Like, well, the bottom of my feet get really bad. Obviously, all this up in here is no good. But I get, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. So anyway, I'm just going to show you. This is what we got. Oh, of course, I lost my flashlight, right? Where did it go? Oh, I see it. Hold on. Now, I got blueberries down there. I could do this with this right here. This one here, which is no apple peel. I'm going to do the same thing with some of these blueberries that I had to take out of my fridge. And they're still sitting in a box. So, And then they're not cooked, right? So they're going to be real rich, right? And so I'm going to mix the apple with the blueberry, and I'm going to make a fruit roll up with that. This one here, I'm not sure yet. There's, you know, not a lot of liquid in there. I can use this one for the next batch of apples and do the same thing like I'm doing here. The end goal is to make fruit roll-ups. So I'm going to do that for a little while longer, because you can get more than that out of that, right? And then, you see how full that got now? Just with what I've been doing, right? And in terms of seeds, right? I got one out of that whole little bit. Okay? And you don't need to put sugar in it, but I'm going to, just to sweeten it up a tad. Okay? And then I'm going to dehydrate it like fruit roll up, and I bet you it will work really good. Okay, so mixed everything up, right? I'm going to do half a cup of sugar to start. Okay? It's kind of like making candy, right? And if you make it real good, then it will go fast. So you might have to put it away. Look how nice and smooth that is. You see? Let me see. Oh. That is so good, people. Okay? You can't imagine how good that is. It doesn't need any more sugar. Now, this here, versus throwing it out, okay, that's the seeds, the apple peel. I mean, I could have went around and around and around and got more of this, but I don't need to, because I'm going to be doing this for a couple of weeks anyway, okay, with those apples falling. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and make a lot of fruit leather, okay? Not this, though. This, you know, this is where you get frugal, right? I'm going to dehydrate this. But after it's dehydrated, I'm actually going to grind it up, turn it into a powder, put it in a jar, and have it as a muffin mix. In terms of, you can put in a tablespoon or two at a time when you make your banana cake. And it will just add in that extra nutrients. Because people pay good money for blackberry seeds.
Continue to do that
so
in the coming weeks.
In between
equally, I wanted to report on the
fruit
easing
roll-ups.
of restrictions for visitors and the visitation policy at long-term care facilities and seniors assisted living facilities.
Okay, you
Each
can
week
see.
I've been reporting the number of facilities that have a written safety plan in place.
Are you listening?
And have started to welcome visitors.
Okay, this is
Health
alive.
authorities have now reconciled the number of facilities that are required to have a written safety plan in place, and have confirmed that the visitor policy applies to 563 facilities. Some facilities are joint facilities, and that's the difference in the number.
See?
This change in the number of facilities is due to that factor and the duplication of facility names.
Where are we?
The ministry will be doing regular, ongoing verification and consultation with health authorities so that these lists remain accurate. I said last week that it was my expectation that all facilities would have a plan in place by this week.
Listening?
And I'm pleased to say that all 563 long-term care and assisted living facilities across BC
Here it is right
have a visitation plan in
I came
place.
in late.
That's 97 in Vancouver Coastal Health.
Here it is right
150 in Fraser Health. 134 in Vancouver Island Health.
Here it is right
140
here.
in Interior Health. And
I
42
just did a
in Northern
video
Health.
on this.
There are a number of
This
facilities that
one
are not
was a fake
accepting
live
visitors
stream.
at this time. Those include facilities such as Holy Family, Maple Ridge Seniors
Here it
Village,
is right here.
and Dania Home and Fraser Health, as well as today's
he is here.
announcement around Richmond Lions Manor.
So,
that
hold
are
on.
in outbreak status. 2 long-term care facilities and 2 assisted living facilities in Haida-Gwaii.
We're going to
are
see.
not
We're going to
accepting
see
visitors at this time.
if this is
due
a
to the community
real live
update there.
stream
I'd like to thank
or
the
a
many people
pre-recorded
involved in
live
getting these
stream.
plans in place, the caregivers,
And
the care home
if it's
operators,
a
administrators,
pre-recorded live
facility program
stream,
and licensed staff, administrative
how many
staff in
hours
place,
ago
the families and those
or
working
days ago
directly
was
in
it
care in
recorded?
British Columbia.
Because
These plans
right
ensure
now,
that all residents
as
and
it
individuals
is,
can see each other
they're
in a
trying to
safe
say
environment.
this is being
This is
done
tremendous news for
in the here
everyone.
and now.
And as you know,
They're
in the
reporting
coming weeks,
on
for the first month of this being in
up-to-date
place, we'll be
statistics
reviewed to see if we can make
as of
further amendments
August
to allow
6,
more visits
2020.
to people in long-term care, which we all know,
Okay?
aside from COVID-19.
Okay, so I'm listening to this in the background here. I'm going to throw this in with this video, okay, because seriously, people need to know what's going on. So in the meantime, these blueberries are done. You want them really hard, because if you make them hard, they don't spoil. I'm going to put them in a jar, right? Hold on. Okay, so they're really normalizing isolation, right? I'm doing these berries, right? Listening, trying not to get mad because they got questions. So the live is probably still running, but they're getting fast, right? They're going to kick out any minute. So technically, I should be refreshing the page because you don't know, right? Because, you know, they know people are catching on to their game. Thing is, people aren't talking about it yet, right? Because they're afraid. That's what it is, people. They're afraid. But, you know, these things are so ramped up to isolate people and to criminalize them for coming together in the interior and, you know, living a normal life, right? As human beings.
This question is from Richard Zussman, Global News. Richard, go ahead, please.
As human beings, and then putting the onus on the owners as they're putting together teams to start going into the interior, into the small towns, to catch these people congregating above the number that the government has ordered that they're allowed to. Like, this isn't a cult, right? This is, you know, now they've got people chasing you around the province, not only in your own damn city, but they're following you throughout the province. Right? With draconian, you know, you're going to get fined if you do this, and you're going to get fined, and your business will get shut down. And like, they actually shut down some of these lodges out in the interior, in Haida Gwaii, right? Based on these so-called fake deaths and infections that they're reporting on 1 week in advance before they even happen. But you see, the people in Haida Gwaii, they don't know that, though, right? Because they don't take the time to investigate for themselves or do the research. They just, you know, they like sitting up on the island all by themselves with nobody coming by, right? So, you know, why would they want to know the truth? They don't want to know the truth, right? They want to keep the island like a little oasis, right, where nobody can go there, and this coronavirus just happens to make it easier for them. Not only that, but they're falling for the old okie dokie, and if people are really getting sick, people, we have to ask ourselves, maybe it's just straight up energy weapons being projected at targeted individuals who the government sees as expendable, because that's what's been going on. Right? And that's what they're going to do in these classrooms. They're going to separate these kids 6 feet apart as they're going to be zooming in with their energy weapons, with their 5G, right? To test their heart rate, to test their temperature, to see if their brains are getting cooked. Who knows? They're doing something, right? Lots of people are talking about it. I'm not the only one, right? I'm just documenting the fucking fraud. That's all. The breach of trust and the fact that this is not a government. This isn't a cult. Okay? You know? Yeah. This is what this is. I'm going to have to buy some new jars. Right? Because these apples are going to tip me over the edge. And that's not to mention the grapes are coming in. I still have beans growing too. So I'm going to have to go off and buy some new jars. But that's okay. Once it's done, it's done. Right? In March, and went to. So I'm just going to show you this jar. Now I'm just getting these trays ready to now do this fruit stuff.
and we minimized the period of time that we kept schools closed. We opened up in June. We opened up to a number of children who had parents who worked in essential services.
That's one full jar.
Place to go.
And you could vacuum seal this if you had the right apparatuses. But even if you don't vacuum seal it, if you make it nice and tight and don't open the jar, it will sit like this, I'm telling you, for years. And when you open them and start eating them, they're going to taste exactly like it was when you first put them in. That's what I like about blueberries. Oh yeah. This is really good. And I still got 5 more trays to go. Right. So I don't know, I have to go find some containers. Hold on.
That allows children to be in those environments.
Just double checking. So it looks like it's still on.
To be in those environments
right?
safety.
I don't know.
And those are the layers of protection that we will put in place.
Okay, there it is right there.
We talked about the learning.
There it is right there.
That we will be restricting the numbers of
there
people
it is
that
right
we
there.
come in contact with. We'll be adding in reasonable physical
so
distancing
we're going to go to this
that
one.
allows for learning in an environment where children can interact with each
refresh
other
and make sure it's
without
still on.
physical touching, with maintaining distance
you don't know
as
when
much
these
as
things are
possible.
kicking out.
And certainly for older children, that's
Okay,
much more feasible.
okay, it looks like
we'll be
looks,
ensuring that masks
it
are
looks
worn
like
where
it,
it's
okay.
appropriate for them to be
So
worn.
here it
like
came
on
in,
school buses,
right?
like in crowded
It
areas
came in,
and hallways.
you
But
can
we'll
see
be
that.
taking other measures to ensure
Okay.
there's increased ventilation.
I don't
in
need
the
this
schools,
now.
making sure that there's
Right.
increased opportunities
on.
for hand cleaning and hand hygiene. And this is all a learning environment that children and educators and public health will be working on together, and will be monitoring.
So
and will be
they've
caring
brought
for these communities
a whole
as
bunch
we
of
get into the
Lucy's
fall.
from the
And we
1960s
need to
scoop
remember that
into the
school
public
has never been a zero
school
risk
system
environment in terms of
as they're
infectious
basically lying to
diseases.
the
We
parents.
get influenza, we get measles, we get
Okay.
respiratory viruses.
Right. That's
and the
that's
things
my
that we are
opinion
putting in place
of
will
this
help minimize
situation.
those as well. And
Okay.
public health has been there.
That is my
We have
opinion
school health officers for every
of this
school
situation.
in this province who work with
Only
their schools
because
to make
I've
sure
been
that
catching
if
them in
there's a
lice.
case of measles,
So currently we've got 1,171 watching. 46 minutes
Do you
ago.
have concerns about the fact that
Okay,
BC
you can see it's
doesn't
being
seem
streamed
to have any idea
by the province of
about
BC.
how the pandemic is
It's currently
affecting
still
different
running.
communities and how
However,
that will affect how we
they're
address those
sneaky.
disparities going forward?
Right?
Yeah, well,
So when you
we
get
do
near
have an
the
idea
end,
about it.
you
As I
kinda
say,
have to
we've
go
been,
like
we've been
this.
analyzing that information, both from the
Because
survey and from the
as fast as
data
the
linkages
stream
that
is
we're doing
ending,
around the unintended
they're
consequences.
taking it down
What we have not done
just
is
as
publicly
fast because they
reported
don't
on
want
some
you to
of that
see
yet,
the true
because
date
it hasn't
of
been
when
in
this
a form that's
more than likely, people,
analyzed in.
more than likely, it is a pre-recorded live stream.
Yes, we are
Okay.
looking at it.
I gotta
In City
here
of Toronto,
make sure.
you have to remember as well, there are way more cases in the City of Toronto than we've had across BC. So the differential impact.
That's
is
why they're
slightly
bringing in masks
different
because
in
of
our
Doug Ford,
communities.
as Doug
But,
Ford is in some
yes, we will be
ozone
reporting on that
company
soon.
promoting ozoning apples, right? En masse. Right, with the toxic gas that's supposed to be safe for human consumption once it's done its job killing off all the pathogens in a crate of apples, okay, which is just a monopoly to knock out little farmers and their apples as property developers that come in from different countries with backroom deals with corrupt so-called politicians cut down all the apples,
I'm not sure exactly what
trees,
you're asking,
that is,
but as we
in the
said,
neighborhood,
this is a framework,
and push
we've
out
learned from what
the
happened
most
in June.
vulnerable
We've learned
in
some of the
society
things that work and
onto
don't
the
work,
streets.
and every school is now support our
Okay,
contact tracing.
I'm just sitting here doing this, right? And they're making mandatory, they, not yet, right? Mandatory apps. And mandatory apps so that if you say they like to bring up Brandy. She brought up Brandy's night. If you're in a nightclub between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning, and somebody comes down with COVID, it's the nightclub's responsibility to what do you call it? make sure that everybody gets their information, but some people aren't leaving the correct information. So before they walk onto the premise, they're going to have to download the app so that if something happens, we can trace them through the app and everybody else that walked through the door through that particular business, regardless of who they are at that particular time, so that you have a band of Lucy's flying in and doing whatever these people, aka things, are doing. Okay? Like, this isn't a cult.
Thank you.
Right?
They have time for one more question.
So this live is going to kick out very, very soon.
On protecting
Okay?
families and communities.
Now I've got another one of these things
on COVID-19,
that, or maybe two, that I haven't uploaded yet, people. Okay? I've just been trying to, catch them when I can, eh? Because sometimes I'm outside working or I'm doing something, and, I wasn't even getting notifications there for a bit. Now, mind you, I turned off notifications, but their set reminders weren't even coming in. Right? We're going to find out if this is a pre-recorded live stream or a real live stream.
66% were under 40, and the biggest increase for age group is 20.
Because this is so important.
What we infer from this is the fact that our care homes are under better control, but it's also evidence that people in that age group are partying and potentially
they're blaming partying.
Yeah, I think it's
as
a little bit
the
of
reason
both
why
things. One is
people are getting
the
this
age
virus.
Group reflects
Right.
the initial parts of our pandemic, which were very much focused in long-term care. So it reflected not only the residents who were
So they
affected, but
shifted
also
the sites
healthcare workers, which
off
tend
of
to be in
long-term
their 30s
care
and
because
40s
they
and
don't
50s.
want to do an inquiry,
We're now
people.
seeing a shift,
Right?
as you say, to
I have
the younger
video of the
demographic.
premier
We've
saying
seen that
it's not
across the country
necessary
and in
to
Europe
do
and
a
other places as
public
well.
inquiry
And that is a
into our
combination
elderly
of
homes out
younger
here.
People getting together in the
He
summer
didn't
and
think
going,
it was necessary.
and some of the partying that we have seen, yes, but it's
See?
also
Blaming partying.
the demographic of the businesses that
Right.
are opening up. So restaurants, we know that it's younger people who are servers in restaurants and bars.
Yeah.
Some of the other retail outlets where younger people work.
So
in
what?
those settings
You
as well.
don't have a cell
some of the
phone,
bigger
and
outbreaks
you're
that
not going to
we've
be
had
allowed
in,
into the restaurant
some of the
or into the bar. I don't have a cell phone, people. I'm not buying a cell
younger
phone so I can
demographics.
download an app.
It's a combination
Okay,
of things.
I'm not. And if they want to give me a free cell phone, I don't want it. Okay? I don't need the extra radiation and Wi-Fi and energy weapons conductors around me than I've already got. Okay?
How many people, as a result of that, are now in self-isolation?
No, we'll just keep doing this until the live. They're almost done, right? And then it what is it called?
People who were
It takes a few
associated
minutes
with
for
the party,
well,
and
not
it
anymore
seems to be
because they're
that
getting
there are
fast. They're taking it
overlapping
down
social groups
real
that have
freaking
been
fast.
to a number
Matter of fact, they
parties
take them
similar to
down
what we
even
saw,
before the
slightly
live
different
stream
from,
ends
what
because they
happened
don't
in
want the
Ontario,
true
but
number
a
coming
similar
up.
concept.
Okay?
So those numbers are
It's like
reflected not
this
only
is
in
like
Vancouver Coastal,
gambling.
but also
You don't know
in
what
people
you're going to
who live in
get.
the Fraser
You
Health
don't know if
region.
it was
So,
14 hours ago
it's
or
back
1
and
week
forth,
ago,
and
right?
the
Okay?
numbers of
You don't know if it was
contacts
3 days
related
ago
to that
done
are
or
in
4 days ago.
the
You're not going to
400
know
range.
until
So we
these,
do know
when you
that,
pull a
some of
handle
these,
on a slot machine,
even
this
though
is
they
like
may
pulling a
have been
handle on a
smaller
slot
individual
machine.
parties,
You
the
don't know what you're
overlapping
going to get,
groups meant that there's a
right,
large number
until
of
the
people
end
who were
of
potentially
that
exposed. So that's our warning
run,
right
right?
now, is that's where we're seeing the virus get a chance to transmit to potentially large numbers of people. So of the 1,500 and some
Like I said,
people
they're
who
conditioning
are in
people,
quarantine right now because
right,
they've
to,
been exposed. A good proportion of them are related to those types
break
of
down the bond
social
between
settings.
human beings.
Thank you, and that's all the time we have
Okay,
this afternoon.
let's just
Thank you
keep
all
doing
for
this,
joining.
Thank you.
and we'll see how long it takes for this to kick out. I'm not even going to turn off my camera. Okay? I'm just going to keep doing this, people. Alright, it will kick out very soon. Okay? This is how you do it. If you live anywhere in North America and you're suspicious about your local politicians, okay, there it is, right there. So this was done 2 days ago. This was not done today. So I don't know exactly what the statistics were that she... I'll put this on me. Okay. I don't know what the statistics were in terms of what she reported on. How many deaths, how many infections, how many this, how many that. Okay, because I got in late. I did listen after the fact as I was working on the apples and whatnot, right? And, I mean, this is a bad situation humanity is in right now. Millions of people are aware of this, okay? So that's nothing new, right? But they're not aware, if millions of people knew that our local governments, state and provincial governments, were doing pre-recorded live streams, you know, one day, 14 hours, up to 1 week in advance with fake statistics, and then just waiting for the day to come to pull out that particular file folder with what the ghostwriter wrote in. If millions of people knew that, we wouldn't be in this problem that we're in right now, because this is a serious problem. Nobody is going to force me. I'm going to upload this video after, okay, because I'll just pick up with the apples and all that other stuff later, because the video is getting too long. Nobody is going to force me to buy a phone so that I can download an app, which honestly, I don't even know what an app is. Like, I don't quite understand it, but I would not get a cell phone. I don't care if it was handed to me for free or whether I paid for it, just so that I could download an app when I went into a nightclub or a restaurant or a grocery store or anywhere. I'm sitting here. Now, I don't get out very much, people. I don't have a car, okay? So it's really hard for me to go, because if I'm walking and I'm pulling and I'm pushing buggies and strollers and, you know, and that all takes energy. And through my videos, you can see I push my body pretty hard, right? So I don't get out a lot. And I'm already having, I don't know if anxiety. I'm having anxiety, ready for the battle, going to the grocery store with Andre and Amari in a buggy to go buy something, pushing the buggy and the stroller along the way to get to the location for the staff tell me that I can't go into the store unless I put a mask on myself and my grandchildren. And I'm like gonna bring my camera with me, people, and if that happens, I'm recording it. And I'm going to tell them, are you kidding? No. That's not happening. Because first of all, I don't agree with what you're telling me, because I have the proof that my government has been lying and has been committing fraud and false pretense through breach of trust as listed under the Criminal Code of Canada. As a matter of fact, before I go out shopping and put myself in that position where they're going to say, you can't come in, right? Because you're not willing to put on a mask. I should hand them a flyer with the links of that proof as I walk away, documenting that I'm being turned away from grocery stores or wherever because I refuse to submit to tyranny in terms of the lies that my government has been telling me through their fake live streams. Okay? And then make a list of those businesses that participate in that lie. In the event that I might file another lawsuit as my only way to protect my family from being harvested without being held to account. Okay? Because my family is already a targeted family. My family has already been injured permanently for life, if not they're dead, because of what is happening right now. My family was and is the tip of the iceberg of hundreds of thousands of families going through what my family has already gone through. Okay? And I shouldn't have to worry, have any kind of anxiety to go to a grocery store to buy tomatoes, lettuce, sugar, milk, whatever I want to buy, right? Because I might get turned away by not submitting to wearing a mask. Because that's what's happening. Because people are falling for the old okie dokie and they're not pushing back. And if they are pushing back, because there have been people that have been reporting that, an elderly couple will go to the mall, right? Don't want to wear a mask. Next thing you know it, they're being followed out of the store with security, right? Pushing on the old people. Next thing, cops are being called and the old people are being charged. When they didn't even push themselves into the store. They just said, no, we don't want to wear a mask, and walked out. And security followed them and then created this big fucking scene to, show the ones standing around what will happen if you don't comply. Don't breathe. Well, I've been don't breathe in that position for a long, long time, people, and it's just getting worse. So I'm not allowing it to happen without a fight, okay? This is why I'm documenting this stuff, because if they come to me and start saying, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, because it's an order, I'll be like, okay, well, there's reaction to action, action to reaction, or however that goes, right? So I will suffer the consequences of saying no. And then if I need to be, I'll file another lawsuit, people, to document how my family is being treated, because I disagree. Like, if they come to me and say, you need a vaccine, and so do the grandkids. If you don't vaccine, this is going to be the consequences. Before I would allow them to vaccinate anybody for this pandemic, I'd be like, hold on a minute, here's the evidence. You might want to go look at it first, because personally, it's all a lie. And then if they do something really drastic to silence me, like murder me, at least the information is out there and other people will have a chance to fight back. Because it's going to take more than one person to fight back. Right? If 1 million people knew, if 1 million people knew what the government in British Columbia, Canada was doing with their fake pre-recorded 2 days in advance, 1 day in advance, 1 week in advance, right? Before they restream their streams with fake death counts, fake infection accounts, with this order, that threat, this, that, and it's the new normal, and we're learning, and be kind to each other as we stab you in the back and force you into deeper poverty, close down your business, come in with our health teams, our Lucy's on a fucking broom, okay, and harass you until you get so crazy that you just want to die, right? Okay, because that's what's happening to a lot of people. This is why I do these videos. Okay, you walk down the road, God will give you something that will help you along the way. Even if it's a dusty apple tree that nobody really cares about, but you know what? That apples that fall from that tree might be the very well thing that will get you through till next year. And it will help you to regroup, so that you, one, stay alive. It's like you have to fight now to stay alive, people. Okay? Because every minute, it's not every day anymore. It's every minute of your life counts. Okay? And if those apples that fall from that tree that nobody else wanted, but you happen to walk by and you've seen them, and you're like, well, this godsend, right? I'm just using the apples as an excuse, as an example. It's not an excuse, but as an example, right? To give you that fortitude to not give up, to give you that fortitude to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and be the warrior and the fighter that you were born to be, in terms of an independent, free person that was born on a planet of bountiful beauty You know? Apple trees are beautiful. They produce food, you know? They're nice to look at, right? Then that's what I do it. Because there's millions of people crashing right now. As these people in their togas doing the hologram dance with their alien partners are mocking the humans of this planet. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to put this video together, people. You know, it's almost like I should just run it through, however. Now, I've done a couple other, you know, videos with these fake pre-recorded live streams, and I just haven't uploaded them yet, right? Not that I don't plan on doing it. You know, I just haven't done it yet, right, for whatever reason. But, again, if 1 million people knew what the hell was going on, it wouldn't be going on anymore, okay? People would revolt. They would be repealing, or whatever, they'd be recalling these politicians. They'd be asking them to step down, right? But you see, that's the thing, though. They're going to do whatever they can to keep it hidden, right, from the public. And just as a note here, you know, this situation with Ciera and those cops and everything, you know, I do think that some of these individuals within the police force have been altered right along with whoever these so-called politicians are and have been altered, okay? Because this is, like, I try to explain to Andre, right, that, you know, we're talking about going to the grocery store and having to wear masks, and I'm like, no, it's not happening. If I get turned away from each and every grocery store because I refuse to wear a mask or have my grandchildren wear a mask, which Andre's already gone to one store and put on a mask and said he couldn't breathe.
TNT.
Yeah, right, because, you know, he went with his Uncle Marcaine, and they test your temperature before you walk in. This is a grocery store, people, right? And they make you wear a mask, otherwise you can't go in. That's how Andre ended up wearing it, and apparently he couldn't breathe through the mask, so, like, you know.
And it also made me upset.
And it made him very upset. And, you know, life is too short to be getting upset about these types of things. And you see, the difference between me and the average Joe is I know the truth of what the government's been doing in terms of those lies, more than one, right? And so therefore, I'm going to stand my ground, right? That's what I have to fight for my children's and my grandchildren's future, right? They were born free. Okay, yeah, we got, you know, a society with basic laws, but at the end of the day, they have a right to be the best they can be on their own terms, all right? And government is supposed to help nurture that, not squash it and then create whatever they want to create through that new and approved 60 scoop that not only targets the natives now, it targets everybody that's actually human, okay? Right? See, in the 60s, they were just doing their science experiments basically on the native children. Now, they're doing it on anybody and everybody that's going through mainly public institutions that everybody pays into, right? So, you know, I don't know what I was going to say there. I was going to say something else. So, I don't know how I'm going to, you know, upload. I'm thinking I should do the ones with the parliament, you know, with these fake live streams, back to back to back to back, all in one video, so you can see the progression of how they keep doing it. How they keep doing it, people. Right? And, like, really let it sink in that we're being lied to and manipulated. Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and I also had to wear a mask at another store, too.
What's that?
So I also had to wear a mask in another store.
Yeah, well, you see, that's where Nana will just walk away.
Because look, like, the store had, like, different.
Different what?
Like, it had, like, it was just, like, a bigger store.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, Doug Ford from Ontario has made it mandatory, right, along with other governors and premiers, you know, speckled here, speckled there, because they're getting ready for wave 2, right, to bring in more draconian laws, right, to take more control, right, and they're just easing it in right now, right, you know, follow the leader kind of thing, and nobody's fighting back because, you know, you're just going to draw attention to your negative attention to yourself, right, and they don't know the truth like I know the truth, right? So for me, you know, I already expressed to my son, like, I'm not wearing no mask, no, especially with what I know, people. It's not happening, right? You know, every minute counts, right? Because any minute, you could be, you know where, gone, right? And so I'm going to make every minute count in terms of, like, you know, having morality, at least for the little time that I have left on this planet, and I'm going to stand for something. And if it comes to it, right, and I get turned away from all these grocery stores with children in tow because I refuse to put masks on them and have their temperatures checked, because it's nobody's business what the temperatures of anybody coming through those doors is, right?
Well, I didn't get my temperature checked.
Okay, don't interrupt me, please. All right?
Just saying.
I know. I'm just saying too.
I'm going to my playroom, okay?
Yeah. Because I'm tired and my head kind of hurts. I was in the blackberry bush yesterday. Get the histamines up my nose, right? Anyway, so he broke what I was saying. I don't know. I was saying something. My son said, well, we can order food online. Have delivery. Until such time. But I'll tell you, for those stores that are turning me away, because I don't want to fall for the old okie dokie, they're going on my to sue list. And I won't be suing them per se, particularly, as in, you know, so-and-so against so-and-so. It will be against the province again, people. And I'd have to include the federal government, because this is being fed and fueled by the federal government, right? Where they are banishing me and my family from society based on false pretense, breach of trust, fraud, conspiracy, and the act of the government operating as a criminal organization as listed under the Criminal Code of Canada. And what's the judge going to do? Take it to the cops. And I'll be like, well, hold on a minute. I got this video here that kind of shows that there's something wrong with them, right? And then there's deep corruption, and that, you know, they practice SMM, you know, that being a masochist and a sadist, right, with that paraphernalia and shit, in terms of who they associate with while on the job, right? And I have video proof of that too, people, as they body snatch vulnerable, innocent human beings' bodies for profit. That's what I mean. Every minute of your life counts if you want to stand for something. Otherwise, you're just going to be dog meat. And I forgot to mention, I actually turned it on to mention this. I've been in this house for 10 years. You know, it's an old house, right? So it's always had moths. But have you noticed this year, people? No moths. None. I haven't seen maybe one or two. That's it. You know what else I haven't seen? Hornets. Just one or two. One or two hornets. Nothing like normal years. Alright, in terms of, you know, when it gets hot. Hardly even any fruit flies. Yep, something's happened. Something's happened, people, that the bugs are even disappearing. Anyway, in light of moths, you don't even want one moth getting into your jar, okay? Because if you get one moth, they're going to have a party. And when you go back, you're going to find half your food eaten. So, I'm only putting these in here temporarily until I can get a nice jar to put them in. Because I have blueberries from way back in the day where, you know, they're still perfectly good. But before I eat these ones, I want to pull out those ones because I think they were done in 2011. And I'll put these ones away. So I just wanted to show you that even though you don't think you have a moth in the house because they've all been killed off for whatever reason, right along with the wasps and the fruit flies, right? Then, because there should be wasps out and there should be moths. This, you know, I deal with a lot of food. There should be lots of moths. And there should be more fruit flies than what I'm seeing. And I'm not seeing shit. So that tells you something. Okay? Just until you can secure it nicely, just make sure they can't get in. Because if you pour it into something and there's one moth in there and then you put it away in storage, you'll come back and find out that, you know, they were having a party in there. So anyway, I'm going to upload this now because it's a long video, right? I'm merging the corruption in my province with how to stay sane and not give up. Okay? How to you know, look for the little blessings in life that come in disguises, right? And not be afraid to go outside of the box and, you know, do something that other people might not be doing and that may cast judgment on you because you're doing it, right? Like, don't be embarrassed to collect a bunch of apples that nobody wants and go home and preserve them for yourself however you decide to preserve them because you don't want to face the ridicule of people walking by saying, oh, look at you, you can't, you know, why don't you just go to the grocery store and go buy some apples? Well, it's, you know, the way things are going, it won't be long before you won't be able to go into a grocery store. Well, as a matter of fact, you can't unless you wear a mask. And you see, being that I live minute by minute, right? And I've been going, what people are going through right now, my family has been going through for a long, long time. The only difference between then and now is it's gotten 1,000 times more worse, with millions of people getting entrapped into, first, that manufactured poverty, and then two, you just become a targeted family for these things that like to call themselves politicians who say they represent the public. Harvest your family. Okay, so just to recap here, do you see that? I just refreshed this page. This is how I'm going to finish this video. But I'm going to put the first two last parts first. So we're going to start from the beginning. Okay? This is what you're going to see after this little introduction, and then you're going to go into the rest of the video and you'll see how it all pans out between the apples, the blackberries, blah blah blah, and this particular live stream, which was a pre-recorded fake live stream. Honestly, I didn't hear the first part of this live stream, so I don't know if anybody died as of current date, okay, because I'd have to listen to the beginning. Right? But I'm sure they reported on fake statistics in terms of infections, because ultimately this live stream, which was done today, was recorded 2 days ago. But it's been adjusted because they take it down, remember, and then they repost it with something else completely to hide the truth of the matter, because they are lying. So Okay, 1, 2, 3. Wow. 4. 5. 'Wow. But that is the truth. Okay, so end of the video. You can see what I've done, and boy, I'll tell you, this is so tasty. This one here is just a straight up plastic. This one is corrugated. You can see that, right? So you put this one on the bottom. It doesn't seem to be leaking out from underneath, so that's really good. I am most definitely impressed with this. And as it starts to dry, or even before, what you can do, just to sweeten it up even a little more, I don't know if it's a good time to do it right now, but you could go like this. Do you see? This is sugar. You could just go like that. Actually, maybe like that. Just to add a little bit more in there, because this is better than candy. Okay, do you see? Just a little bit. Oh my God, this is so good. I should have been doing this years ago. Anyway, there you go. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about this one, right? This was the apple seeds after I went through that little food mill thing. And then the apple peels left over, right? After I went through the food mill, okay? And then you just dehydrate that and then just grind it up, people, and put it in your bread. You know, you can put it in bread when you're making bread. You can put it in your cakes. You can put it in your cookies. You could sprinkle it on top of your yogurt and your cereals. You know, you could do whatever you want with it. The point is it's full of nutrients and it's 100% organic. Okay, so this is now on to the next video, okay? I'm going to start with the other bit of apple that I had peeled. This one's been peeled, okay? Those are fresh blueberries. I'm going to take both of these and I'm going to run them through that, and then I'm going to put them on the trays for the dehydrator and make fruit leather. Okay, I'm listening to what I missed. No new death to report as of August 6th, 2020 today, right? Even though the live stream was done 2 days ago, okay? Right? And, you know, but they're telling us that we're going to be in this predicament with all these life-altering changes, right, for months, years to come, as if they have a right to tell us how to live our lives like that. But besides that point, so anyway, just want to finish this video, right? But I'm going to put this with the next video, or maybe I'll just put them all together and be done with it. I don't know, people. It's just kind of like a run-on video here. This is really good. It's the apple without the peel and the blueberry through that mill. And it's good enough, honest to God, to can this way versus having to make a fruit leather. This is really, really delicious. And out of that pot that I had, of course, I added a bit of sugar. And then for this case, I went like this. Now, this is quite thick, so it should be interesting to see how it dehydrates. Oh my God, people. Those apples, I'm telling you, they're going to be falling like crazy. Like crazy. There's going to be crazy amount of apples tomorrow. Oh yeah, remember I told you? I got these nice little styrofoam containers. Look at that. Look how hard it's raining. That's crazy. It's raining apples. Yeah, oh, look at, let's go check out these trees. That one blowing around. Okay, so it stopped raining, and then Andre and I, we went out and got what fell from the tree. Right? You can see they're getting bigger. Now they're starting to get a little bigger, right? And as we go along, that's what's going to happen. This one has a little slug on it, so can you go get me? Never mind. I'll take care of him. Hold on. Okay, so as you can see, this is what fell from the tree after it rained. This is full, people. It's full, right? This thing is almost a little over half full. And the bag was bulging. All right. I washed those last night. I was going to cook these up today, but as you can see from my previous video, I was doing other things in terms of making the fruit leather and okay. Washed those last night. So what I'm going to do is, if you notice, these are bigger apples compared to these smaller apples, right? You can see. So I'm going to start combining them. But as the apples fall, they just get bigger. Do you see? Look, see how big that is compared to that. Big difference, right? So these ones here that are in the sink after I wash them, there's in vinegar water, right? Because they just fell, you know, they came off the tree and hit the ground after the rain. So half an hour later, I went and picked them up, right? Just let them air dry, and as soon as these ones are done, I'll go through them a little better, and then once they're dry, then I'm putting those ones in the fridge as I work on these ones, and then I have another pot, a fairly large sized pot with the smaller ones, right? And I still have 2 large containers in Auntie ShaMay's room, so the apples are falling. Oh yes, and as we were leaving, one fell off the tree. Andre and I, we want to write a little story about that. A don't leave me behind story.
The copycat.
And then, as we were going out to get the apples, I was in the hall, and I'm like, oh, I'm looking for something, bags, whatever. I picked up, and look what I found. I picked these yesterday when I did the other blackberries, and I guess I left them in the hall and forgot about them. So this is good. I'm happy with this because I don't want to pick blackberries right now. So I'm going to cook these up anyway and start juicing this, right?